All right. Well, hello. Good morning, everybody. Did anybody get their coffee out of the way? I haven't. So if I don't, I don't know. If I fall asleep while speaking, it's not you. It's me. But anyway, so I guess I kind of set this up without a bio or anything. I just had the basic front slide, but because I was kind of assuming I knew everybody, but there's actually quite a few new people. So, but basically, I guess the only thing that is kind of cool lately is I did make it to international best-selling author with my book on LinkedIn. And I was going to show you our cool little LinkedIn trick. If you got your phone here, pull it out and get your LinkedIn app up if you have it. If you don't, then you have to try it later.
Do I need to know my ID and password?
That's no. Yeah, actually, I think you do. So, but I'll have you pull that up, and so I have had the privilege of writing for some different things: Six Figure Coach magazine, Authority magazine. I've been quoted in Huffington Post, Monster.com. I don't know. There's like 50 of them. I can't think of them right now, but anyway, so I've had a little bit of success. But I'm just, nobody from Minot, North Dakota, of all places, and I met a pretty redhead while we were there in high school, and she moved off to college, and I didn't see her for over 10 years, and then I ran into her parents at a Denny's one day, and they gave me her email address and said, "Oh, she's still single," and the way they said it kind of, I think it was a hint, but I'm not sure, but so about, I don't know, it must have been 6 months later, I moved to Minneapolis.
Did you buy them a cup of coffee?
Yeah. And so that's kind of where I came from, and now I got a wife, 4 kids, and a couple companies that we're working on scaling nationally and worldwide. So that's where we're at. So, but on your smartphone here, on your LinkedIn app, there's a little person icon at the bottom. It's called My Network, but 2 little people at the very bottom typically. Apple might be on top, I can't remember, but if you tap the little person button, and there's a button here called Find Nearby, and then everybody that's on that page in the entire room, I think it's up to a certain size room, but will show up and you can connect to them right there.
Yep, Jason's there, Judy's there.
Yep. So you can hit the little plus by everybody. There we go, see you.
What is it doing in the room?
It uses Bluetooth. So, but that's a little trick, a little bar trick. So if you're in the bar and you want to pick up all the ladies in the room at the same time, you can just I'm just teasing. I've never tried that because I was married when that technology came up. But anyway, I'm sure I would have. But anyway, so that's kind of just there. So that's a cool trick. But through that, I've been able to get over 19,000 connections on LinkedIn. Over 5,000 are CEO level, or I should say C-suite level, and a lot of them are quite a few people you'd know their name by reputation because they're large Fortune 500 company CEOs and stuff. But that's something you can do. You have access to people that you normally wouldn't have access to through social media. It's pretty incredible who you can reach to. So anyway, I'm going to talk about a little bit different topic today. So, because I've been in here a couple times teaching about LinkedIn and social media things and stuff like that. So we also do some business consulting with what we're doing. So I'm going to just cover some basic stuff to kind of get you thinking. Hopefully, it impacts your business and helps your bottom line. So have you guys heard of the 80-20 rule? I think most people have heard of it, but basically, 20% of what you do produces 80% of the results. So it's not. So a lot of people kind of think it's like you do 80% healthy, and then 20% unhealthy, and you're okay. That's not really what it means. It means 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions. So you got to make sure you put that in the right context there. But so in business, what that means, imagine if you could focus your efforts on the 20% of actions that drive that 80% of revenue. So focus on the things that are actually driving your revenue and growing your business. And that's one big problem that most business owners have is, and I'm definitely guilty of it, I kind of have that shiny object syndrome, And man, and all these cool apps and all these cool things you can do, I can get really distracted if I let myself. So you gotta make sure that you're staying focused on things that are actually building relationships and creating revenue for your company. And obviously I put at the bottom, you still gotta do the 80% other stuff because you've gotta run your company. But so a lot of times you can spend less time on that or delegate that to somebody or hire a virtual assistant. You can get some great people for $10 an hour, $15 an hour that can do a lot of administration stuff like just sorting your inbox for you or whatever it is that'll help you have more time to do what you gotta do. So that's some things to kind of think about. Alright. So this is what I call the 5-step profit formula, and basically these are the 20% for most companies. So if you can take your time and efforts and focus on these particular areas, and this comes from an hour plus presentation, so I'm just giving you a couple bits and pieces today. We're not going to get real heavy into stuff, but so more leads. How can you generate more leads? So the people that get to your website or get to your company or your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page, are they converting into customers, and how do you get that to happen better? More transactions. So you want to get more people to be there and more people to buy, and those same people to get them to buy again and again and again and again, to build that repeat business. Higher prices. How to increase your prices without losing clients, and that's done by creating more value. Because not everybody drives those. What are those little Kias or whatever? Not everybody drives those. So price isn't the only factor. It is a factor, but it's not the only factor. So if you can create enough value, that can make a huge difference for you. And more profits. How do we skyrocket your profits and help you dominate markets? Alright, so drink some water here. You gotta be healthy, right? Drink your water?
Yeah.
Alright.
80%.
That's right. Alright, and black on blue background is not a good choice, by the way. Just on certain screens. So the biggest thing is you have to enter the conversation that's taking place in the mind of your customers. So when somebody's walking in your door or somebody's searching for a product or service like yours, you need to be the one that reaches out and says, hey, I know what you're thinking, here's the solution to that problem. Because people will buy stuff if you can solve their problem. So there's a problem they have that they don't want, and there's a result that they want but they don't have. So if you can isolate those in your business model, and so you might do something that's, I don't know, insurance. It's boring, you said, right? So, but you need to figure out how you can relate that to that person so that they find it exciting to them for their personal needs, and so you can solve their problems. And that's a little bit tricky, but if you can hone that down, it makes a massive difference in the success rate, the conversion rates, and all that stuff. All right. So this is what we kind of talk about. We talk about interrupt, engage, and educate and offer. So those are the key pieces. So if you can kind of like shock them, that's your headline. Interrupt them with your headline. So like, you notice how there's a lot of baby commercials right now where the babies are talking and stuff like that, or animals are talking, or kind of, it's like really random kind of stuff. Well, that's not really relevant to the commercial. What the point is, it gets you to stop for half a second and look and go, what the heck? So if you can get that pause where they can get to the next part, where they can engage into your subheadline into what you're trying to market. And this is particularly important on social media, organically as well as paid advertisements. So this is the big secret for most like Facebook ads and stuff. If you can get them to stop, look, engage, read the topic, and then be interested to click the button to get more information. That's what you need to do. All right. So here's a typical website, and somebody was a chiropractor. I have a couple chiropractor examples too, because they're local. So hopefully, if I ever show you that presentation, I don't offend.
Hopefully you're not
one of them, because it's kind of like their websites are like this. So the website looks fine. There's nothing particularly wrong with the website, is how it looks. But what are they what are they offering you? They're offering you a call, or to call me. Hey, call me. That's a common one. They have a button that says call me or book an appointment, which is fine. Free consultation, okay, that's great. And they specialize in all these things. So let's say I have an emotionally disturbed child, and I come to this website and I'm like, oh, I need help with my emotionally disturbed child. I'm like, okay, you know, sure, but here it says I can read hundreds of articles. I don't want to read hundreds of articles. I want to solve my problem. I got this kid that's you know, ripping things off the wall and you know, in a rage constantly. So this is a landing page. And a landing page basically, or squeeze page, a lead magnet you might call it. What that does is it basically, when you go into like a website or something, this has no navigation. You could either go here or go nowhere. Now they do have a little thing, if you close out, it'll forward them to the regular website that you have. So you do need that regular website with the hundreds of articles and all the other stuff, in case this doesn't meet their needs for some reason. But the interrupt, are you sick and tired of the yelling, screaming, and belligerent attitude of your child? If you are the person with that problem, that's going to catch your interest. Now, if you don't have kids, you're like, okay, whatever. But if that meets your need, if that's your hot button, then that is going to draw you in. And then you can read the next line. Now you can discover the secrets to controlling your child and instantly restore peace and quiet in your home. That's the result I want. So I came to this page. Not only are you speaking my language, but you also have the answers to what I need. Well, how do I get that information? Oh, all I got to do is put my name and my email address in there. Okay? But can you see how the messaging matters? Now, how many people have websites like this? I mean, you don't have to raise your hands. But like the chiropractor, a couple chiropractor ones that I looked at that I use as examples, it literally just says call me or book an appointment, and that doesn't, you know, and it talks about, you know, back pain or something in general. I mean, they got blog articles, and it's good. It's good for search engine optimization to be, you know, found in the list. So there's a place for that, and that's important, and it's good. All that stuff's good. It's just when you're trying to get to that next step, you know, where you're trying to capture the people, that's where you do that. So, all right.
I can see it now, you know, make millions, don't invest a single cent. You know?
Yeah, there you go.
You're talking my language.
Send me your email.
Yeah. You get a long list. It might not be very productive, but you do have to target your ideal customers.
Okay,
So, all right. So what we do with this is we want to create a funnel. So we want to capture people at the top of the funnel. We want to capture people in the middle of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel. So the problem is almost all of your marketing is for that 1% buyer. See, the now buyers, the people that are ready to buy today, is about 1%. So 1 to 2% typically are your, you know, I'm ready to buy today as soon as I see that thing. But most of our marketing and all that advertising, all that stuff is for that guy. Now that's fine. But the power of this is you've captured their information. So whether they're just kind of researching it for the first time, or they've been researching it for a little bit and they're a little bit further into the I guess funnel you call it, the sales process, or you're ready to buy, it hits all those levels. Because once you have their information, then you can build a database. And then you can do what's called a drip marketing campaign. Because average customers need about 20 plus touches today for small business owners to get them. Now, if you're Coke or Pepsi and you got a can, you know, on, you know, half the desks across America, and you got billboards and billions of dollars, you can get 20 views or more pretty easy. That's not very hard anymore for them. But if you're a small business, you know, in Lakeville, Minnesota, how are you going to get that same customer to see you over and over and over and over again and stay top of mind? So in 3 years when I need a new website, I know to call Jess. So how do we do that? Well, obviously you can come to networking meetings, and if you stay at the same one, you can get some good friends and network and build relationships and all that stuff. And that's a beautiful thing, and it's probably your top way, or at least your top quality prospects are people that you've built relationships with. But outside of that, and the other problem is, it's not as consistent. So like in a group like this, you might only need a website once every couple of years. Or you might need marketing. Well, marketing you might need all the time. But different industries, depending on what your products or services are, you only need a new roof every 7 years or something, they say. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but does that sound about right? You do construction of some sort, right?
20, 25 years.
Oh, is it 20? Yeah, 25.
7, that's close enough.
Yeah. I get a new roof every 5 years, so I don't know. But,
As long as an insurance company.
but that's an insurance thing,
I
so
don't know what's going on.
we get lots of hail apparently. Actually, there are different houses I moved and then got hailed out at different places. But anyway, so you want to get that ongoing, consistent communication, so you can build that rapport. And it can be something as simple as a newsletter. That's okay. But typically, you want to provide valuable information that person's going to want to consume over a long period of time. And so the nice thing is, whatever your thing that your lead magnet or whatever they are, they download to find out, a lot of times that can be your information. So basically you can build this one beautiful long article with details and information, and then you can spin that down and cut it down into bite-sized chunks and share that. Like for one of my campaigns, I'll use some of the chunks out of my book and put a little paragraph and then maybe add a little bit to it or whatever, and add some animations or whatever. But basically I can use my book as content pieces to share it over and over, over a course of time. And then obviously I'm out constantly learning new stuff, especially with LinkedIn and stuff, because that's my forte. And you can continually share that information. So that's a very powerful thing that you can do. All right. So, where's I at? Oh, I remember. I was gonna jump into like more of a Q&A, but I wanted to, because I wanted to give you this little piece here, because what you can do, and there's all kinds of stuff. So once you have their information, it's gold. So you can take. Sorry, I get a little excited about stuff like this, but stuff I've learned that most people don't know about. So you can actually take the contacts you meet there, get their contact information, their email if you want, and you could once you build a list, you could actually take that same list and you can pop it into LinkedIn, because you can invite by email. So you could literally take that list, pop it into LinkedIn, and connect to a lot of those people. Then you can also take it over to Facebook and run a like marketing campaign where you do a like audience. And basically Facebook takes all of the database of the people that you have in your list, and they match the criteria that these people have in common, and then they build a marketing campaign to those people for you. So once you've captured that information, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. And you can also obviously email them, and you can on your message you can ask for their text messaging if you want, and then you can text people, and the open rate on messaging is between 80 and 95%. So that's a huge thing, where email is about 20-25%. But once you have captured that information, and depending on what you're offering, you can do a lot of stuff. And there's funnel. Have anybody heard of funnel software? Like ClickFunnels and stuff like that?
Analytics, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Funnelytics. So now they even have stuff where you can actually build the funnel, and then while you're in there, while they're still interacting with your content, they can offer an upsell item, or they can offer a downsell item. Would you like some fries? Would you like to supersize that fry? Would you like to get an apple pie? But you can do all that within that same funnel. Now that's targeting the now buyers with those particular offers, but the future buyers, they won't buy those, because they'll just be like, I just want the free information. But the point is, there's all kinds of different avenues you can pursue once you interrupt, engage, and then you educate, and then you can offer. So anyway, that's what I wanted to chat with you about today. And then if you have any questions about marketing on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm a pretty good source.
Tell them
for
about
some
your
answers.
first book. I already have it with you, but.
Oh, my first book, I didn't publish it like nationally. It's just a local marketing book, but basically it's going through a lot of this stuff. It's it's just something I used as a marketing tool, as like a fancy business card, but it basically goes through the 5-step formula, how to do upsells, how to do downsells, cross sales, how to set up joint ventures, how to cut your expenses, how to, I don't remember all of it in there. There's a lot of stuff in there, but it's basically the fundamentals to create the stuff on that first page. You get how to get more leads, how to get more conversions, higher prices. Whatever the last one was, I don't remember. But
But we'll offer that book free to the first 10 members here that ask for it. And I'll pick it up the cost.
There, that one. So basically goes through these the 5-step formula. So
Great book.
thank you. That's right, you read it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So, yeah, any questions on social media, marketing, LinkedIn? No, but, wow.
What's the top 3 social medias nowadays that people should be marketing into?
Well, probably Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, I would say. B2B, absolutely LinkedIn. Over 80% of the leads through social media come through LinkedIn directly. And it's all, it really, at the end of the day, it gets down to relationships. It's funny because a lot of people think, you know, it's like this instant machine that just processes people to you and you get leads, and it doesn't work that way. It's basically you make a connection, you know, you look presentable first, make a connection, then you send out a thing or something that says, hey, thanks for connecting, hi, how are you doing, what's up, you know, whatever your question is. And then, you know, a week later you say, hey, I was reading this article that you wrote, hey, that's fantastic, awesome, and then you just drop the ball there. And then, you know, a week later you say, man, I just can't get over how great the stuff is that you're doing. You know, I think there's probably some ways we could collaborate. You know, you want to jump on a 15-minute call. Don't invite people to coffee usually the first time. Just a 15-minute call. People have time for that. They don't have time to sit down for an hour with somebody they don't know why you're calling them. But if you just say, hey, let's have a 15-minute call, there's this funny thing that happens. The last 5 minutes of the call, almost every time, is both of you are racking your brains. Okay, how can we work together? Yeah, you're nice. I think you're nice. And all of a sudden, that last 5 minutes, there's kind of this, let's get something accomplished since we took the time to talk. And I've got to go to Jeffrey Hazlett. He's a 4-time New York Times best-selling author. Through LinkedIn, he invited me down to South Dakota for a networking event. It was like a whiskey tasting fun thing or whatever. So I got to go hang out with him for 3-4 hours, and now we're gonna hopefully be doing some stuff, some business together. And I've gotten a guy that his name's Richard Avoidian, but he's basically a National Speakers Association. I think he might be in the Hall of Fame or something, but I can just call him if I want and talk to him because we built relationships. So it just gets down to relationships, you know, taking that time, meeting people, and the people that are, you know, kind of like on your dream client list, they are accessible. They're just people just like you and me. And if you can, you know, hit their hot button, and a lot of times it has nothing to do with business. You know, like if they're from, say, you know, whoever won the Super Bowl last year, Patriots? Yeah, so if it's New England, yeah. So you say, hey, congratulations, your team won, man, that's awesome, congratulations. That might be that might be the invite you send them. You know, I like to talk to other business owners in your area. That'd be great. You know, whatever it is, but if you can find a commonality between people, it's gold. So anyway, thank you guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Jess.
Out of respect for time, let's just